Was someone in Joan of Arc's close circle a cold-blooded killer who potentially murdered more than 140 children? This is the Joan of Arc companion that was a child serial killer. Welcome to the show. This is Terrible Tales. I am your host, Vecna, and I'm so excited to have on today Fielder, Carolina, and Taiwo. Welcome to the show, guys. Are you excited to get started?
Yay.
Terribly.
Terribly? Okay.
Terribly excited.
Fielder, do you have any terrible tales of your own?
It all kind of happened a long time ago.
Carolina, what about you? You got any terrible tales?
I've escaped being kidnapped 3 times.
What?
Yeah.
Taiwo, what about you? You got any terrible tales?
I've had a pretty fantastic life, I cannot lie to you.
That's awesome. I want to know what that's like. If you're joining us for the first time, Terrible Tales is a quiz show. As I impressively recount the story of a terrifying historical event, I will quiz my acceptable guess about the topic. The person with the highest score at the end wins a special prize that is unique to each episode and is only revealed once the game is over. Is it a George Foreman panini maker? Why? Is it a down payment on our new home? I really wish it was. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah.
Think so?
You think so?
Crystal clear.
All right, should we get started?
Yeah.
All right, let's get started with the game. But before we get into our murderous companion of Joan of Arc, we'll set the stage. Our story takes place in 15th century France, from 1404 to 1440, during a tense period of prolonged conflict, overpopulation, financial hardship, and rampant disease. Yikes. So for our first question, what is a major event that took place during this terrible period? A, France was fighting in the 100 Years' War against England, which began in 1337 and was still raging. B, there were still outbreaks of the Black Plague, killing up to 75% of Normandy's population between 1300 and 1450. C, a general decline in standards of living, which led to peasant uprisings and labor shortages. Or D, all of the above, because, why have one when you can have them all? Taiwo.
Years of test taking has taught me that if everything seems similar, it's probably all of the above.
You know what? I love where your head's at, because your head is right into 500 points. That is correct, Taiwo. Yes, it is D. So we can safely assume that no fun times are being had then. Now, for some bonus points, I'll have each of you look at the camera and tell us about your day. Just tell us about your day. But pretend you're a French citizen living during this horribly bleak period. Taiwo, you first.
Oh, j'ai perdu ma famille, ma mère, mon père, ma soeur.
What does that mean?
I lost my family, my mom, my sister, my dad.
That's your day today?
If I'm a friend.
Oh, if you were in that terrible
I
period
lost
of time.
everybody, they're dead,
Damn, man, I'm sorry. Taiwo, we can be your new family.
That's nice of you all, thank you.
Of course, baby, I got you.
Did
Carolina.
Did you call me baby?
Oh, I just meant like I got you, baby. Carolina.
I had to amputate my arm because of the Black Plague.
Oh, and she died.
Oh no.
Oh, she died. Oh no. Fielder, tell directly into camera. Tell us about your day.
Oh, no bonjour. No bonjour. Help.
Well, speaking of no hello or goodbye, the 100 Years' War, which lasted for forever, arguably 100 years, between France and England, was when Joan of Arc rose to prominence. Joan of Arc was a peasant girl who led the French army to an astounding victory against the English at the Siege of Orleans, possessing incredible physical and mental fortitude at only 16. Joan of Arc claimed to be in direct communication with God via seeing visions and hearing voices, and she claimed to be under divine influence. At first, she was not taken seriously. Her successes commanded the eventual respect of France. Though Joan of Arc was eventually considered a national heroine, only 1 year after the Siege of Orleans, she was captured by the English and their French co-conspirators and burnt at the stake for heresy. In her lifetime, Joan of Arc had the support of many influential figures, including King Charles VII, and it was through the king that she became acquainted with Gilles de Rais, a French baron with enormous power who is also a prolific killer of children. So for our next question, what exactly was Joan of Arc's association with Gilles de Rais? Like, how'd they become homies? A, he was a member of Joan of Arc's guard and even fought alongside her in battle. B, he was a member of Joan of Arc's church, where they eventually became acquainted. C, he was a member of the King's Guard and championed Joan's military achievements.
I thought this was about the ark with the 2 animals of every kind.
Well, no, I haven't mentioned Noah or anything biblical. No, this is France, and this is
This is which arc?
This is Joan of
Oh no.
This is a Joan of Arc.
Okay.
Yes, Fielder.
I feel like it's probably A.
You're feeling it's probably A?
Yeah.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
A is the correct answer. Congratulations, Fielder. You felt it and you went with it. 1,000 points for you. He was part of Joan of Arc's personal guard, specifically assigned by King Charles VII in order to protect her. He also fought alongside Joan of Arc at her famous siege of Orleans, after which de Rais was made Marshal of France. In fact, the partnership between Joan of Arc and Gilles de Rais only ended in 1431, when Joan of Arc was executed. After that, de Rais slowly began to retreat from his military career and spend more time on his estate, which would be lovely. But surprisingly, it was before and even during his time with Joan of Arc that children near the de Rais estate began to disappear. Yeah, guys, it's just when I just said the de Rais estate thing, the energy wasn't feeling very suspenseful.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna say like Gilles de Rais' estate, children disappeared, and then I want you to just go like, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
But surprisingly, it was before and even during his time with Joan of Arc that children near the de Rais estate began to disappear.
Not the kids.
In the years following Joan of Arc's death, Gilles de Rais retreated to his estate and ramped up his supposed killing spree, which would result in a shocking conviction and eventual execution. But before we get into the details of his horrid crimes, it's important to know a little more about him and why his crimes went unnoticed for so long. Gilles de Rais was born in September or October 1404 in Chaumont-sur-Loire, France. He was a wealthy baron who had a successful military career during the 100 Years' War, which resulted in King Charles VII of France appointing him as Marshal of France. Outside of his military career, Gilles de Rais spent his money recklessly and was obsessed with his own salvation. De Rais also had many interests, which, given the context, adds a horrifying layer to his murderous reputation. So, for our next question, knee buzzers ready. What were these interests? A. In 1435, he took up alchemy, the practice of trying to turn other metals into gold or silver. B. He studied Satanism in the hopes of invoking the devil for his own benefit. C. He funded the building of a chapel and personally selected members of the choir, all made up of young boys. Or D. All of the above. Fielder.
All the above.
It's all the above. It kind of it was feeling all the
Classic,
above,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once one thing goes wrong, it's always all the above. You get 666 points. Congratulations, Fielder. The devil now lives inside of you. Yes, all the above. So not only was Gilles de Rais a killer, but he also practiced alchemy, studied Satanism, and organized a choir made up of young boys, which is just awful to think about. These interests seem to have only cultivated his murderous appetite, because over a 14-year period, Gilles de Rais tortured, molested, raped, abducted, and murdered up to 140 children, 35 of which were definitely confirmed by various co-conspirators. Gilles de Rais' method of killing often changed. According to the testimony of Etienne Poitou-Coriol, his servant and accomplice, Gilles de Rais would either kill his victims by his own hand or get other people to do it for him. He was known to decapitate his victims, cut their throats, dismember them, or break their necks after raping and torturing them. Ugh. That is a big one. That is heavy. Can you guys just try to help me lighten the mood? Just tell me about something from your day, or what are you doing this weekend?
Dog park.
Dog park. Oh
Yeah.
God, I love a dog park.
Going to the dog park.
Just get surrounded by pups. Something nice.
Don't even need a dog. I don't have a dog.
Moving on. Gilles de Rais had no problem finding his victims because prior to each child's disappearance, they would nearly always have some connection to the House of Rais. Often the children were known to visit de Rais, and several parents reported that their children had been forced to drink wine on some of their final visits there before disappearing. Poitou, de Rais' servant and accomplice, offered additional testimony to their kidnapping methods. And this Poitou guy was a valuable source because of the details of his relationship with de Rais. So for our next question, what do you think those were? A. He was a fellow Satanist who bonded with de Rais over their shared depravity. B. He was very nearly a victim of de Rais before becoming his lover. C. He was the half-brother of de Rais' wife and aided him as an act of loyalty to his family. Take your time, but not too much. Slap it in, Taiwo.
I'm gonna go with B.
B.
Sounds the juiciest.
Sounds the juiciest because it is. 7,000 points to Taiwo. Yes, yes, yes. In this episode, it seems like the most shocking option is always the right one. It's always whatever is the sickest thing that we could stuff into the script. As if it couldn't get any more salacious, Poitou began working for de Rais at age 12, after very nearly becoming a victim of the killer himself. As time went on, however, Poitou began a long-standing sexual and/or romantic relationship with de Rais, and was even put in charge of luring in new victims for de Rais. Don't want to know how that conversation went. I don't need to know it. I just want to get back to the happy place in my mind, which is the Killers concert. That's where I go to when things get sad.
Oh, not the Killers.
No, not the killer, not
the
like
killer.
these killers. No, like I just think of Brandon Flowers and I'm just taken away. Through testimony, Poitou ended up suggesting a minimum of 35 victims that he personally had some hand in luring or killing. He also said that often other men would assist de Rais too, bringing children to him for a fee. He even stated that one mother gave Poitou access to her son in exchange for a dress. Thoughts on this, guys?
What color was it?
Yeah, what kind of
Yeah,
dress was
it kind of depends.
Well, if it's like the one that was the social media rage all those years ago, I guess it's either blue or yellow, right?
Or gold, or
Gold.
white.
Was it gold or white?
White
I
and
don't
gold.
know. I just said, get this out of here. Poitou and another servant also corroborated reports of a mass burning of victims' corpses inside the castle. Apparently, there were other witnesses who saw corpses being disposed of near the castle as well, but they were all scared into silence. This would become a common theme during the trial. People of the lower classes reported having some amount of prior knowledge of de Rais' crimes, but felt powerless to stop it. So for bonus points, why do you think that was? A, because he was rich. B, because he was scary. C, because he was a Satanist. Carolina.
A, he was rich.
Well, I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you're rich, you can get away with anything. Carolina, that's 1,400 points. Well done. Well done, girl. But on September 19th, 1440, de Rais began his trial for his alleged crimes, including up to 140 counts of torture, molestation, rape, abduction, and murder. He blamed his upbringing for his actions. More specifically, he claimed that having a lack of supervision and a tendency to do whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted, created the habits that led to his crimes. Or in simpler terms, his parents never said no. So, I guess that leads you to murdering little kids. Though initially de Rais pleaded not guilty to his crimes during his ecclesiastical trial, which was orchestrated by the faith-based court at the time, he eventually entered a confession under threat of torture on October 22nd, 1440, to charges of murder, sodomy, heresy, and the invocation of demons. With that, Gilles de Rais was sentenced to death. Everyone, let's take a moment to have a little EDM dance party to celebrate the conviction of this horrible, horrible man.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I hope you guys don't think it's weird that we're celebrating. It's exactly what France did. So,
EDM rave?
well, I guess they didn't EDM rave specifically, but they did celebrate. After his death, traditions and celebrations emerged that would commemorate his execution each year. These included a 3-day fast and a tradition of parents whipping their children. So, I don't know why that is. Surprisingly, de Rais is noted in some posthumous texts as being a prime example of Christian penitence for his calm demeanor while facing execution. Satanism and the murder of children aside. Though much of de Rais' horrible crimes were lost to history, he's still considered to be one of the most horrifying serial killers in human history. Which takes us to the end of our episode. Wow, guys, what a wild ride. It's now time to announce the winner.
Oh my god.
Have we tallied up the points? Now, may we get our drum roll. And the winner of this episode of Terrible Tales is Carolina! Oh man, you can see it's so emotional for her. This is so nice. You've won yourself a photo of Joan of Arc,
Wow.
an Eiffel Tower keychain,
Whoa.
and an Eiffel Tower keychain. Wow, oh my word. Here you are, Carolina.
This. So I did tweet one day that I would like to be cast as Joan of Arc in a biopic. So this is me reaching out to you out there. Cast me, Hollywood.
Now that we've said our goodbyes, here's a cool random Getty video that the producer found while doing research on this topic. For your information, they typed French things into the search bar. And if you look closely, you'll see a hint to what our next episode is all about. If you catch it, leave your findings in the comments. I've been Vecna. Good night. Wow, guys.
Wow.
This has been fun.
Back now.